according to your book. It is called cell envelope. Now, the difference between gram-positive and gram-negative is in the cell envelope. In other words, in gram-positive bacteria, it has a thick cell wall, and it cannot pass the crystal violet which they use to stain bacteria. Therefore, under the microscope, light microscope, you will see purple. So that is because of the only cell wall which it has, but in the other type, which has two cell wall, in other words, it is, one is called cytoplasmic membrane. It is right inside. In other words, it faces inside the cell. The other one is outside, which is called what? Which is called envelope. In other words, outer envelope. In between, there is a thin cell wall, which cannot retain the crystal violet stain, and therefore you will see it as red, because it cannot retain that stain. So these are the two kinds of bacteria which you can see, and basically there is in the picture you will see that's gram-positive, which is purple, and it has just one cell wall, but in gram-negative there is in gram-negative cell wall is thin, and it cannot retain the crystal violet stain. So this is about gram-positive, gram-negative, which basically you should know that. Then we do have, in biofilm, we do have protective matrix. In other words, when those bacteria, either we do have free-floating bacteria, or we do have biofilm. In biofilm, there are bacteria in community. In other words, they are protected by what we call protective matrix, which is synthesized by bacteria, in other words, by microbes. Now, this level is what? Protective. It is protective. It surrounds the microbe, and it protects the whole community. So in other words, in biofilm, even the difference between free-floating bacteria and bacteria in biofilm is that bacteria in biofilm is protected by protective matrix, which is synthesized and secreted by microbes. So this is the difference. Now, next item which you should know is that biofilm you can find everywhere in nature. In other words, biofilm, wherever there is, it is a little bit down, then biofilm will form. In other words, the bacteria will attach to a surface, and then they will attach to each other. They make a community, micro-community. So that's the other thing now. Also, we know that in human being, wherever there is epithelium, which is what? On skin or inside the body, there is, biofilm will be formed. So in other words, inside the mouth, we have biofilm. Where we have? We have on the tooth side. Also, we do have in the pocket epithelium. So, in general, wherever there is epithelium, biofilm will be formed. So that's the other thing. And biofilm is different. It depends where it is located. Now we should know about biofilm. Then it is about formation of biofilm. First of all, it should colonize, and after colonize, it should be mature, and then according to this early section, and the last stage is chronic microbial infection. Now, formation, yeah. So biofilm will protect the bacteria inside the biofilm with these three mechanisms. One is blocking the extracellular matrix which surrounds the biofilm. In other words, it is around all those bacteria. It will prevent large molecules from going inside. Large molecules, what we mean by large molecules? I mean, when they use antibiotics or antibodies, even antibodies, we prevent them. Now, antibodies, they are smaller, so the next mechanism, which is mutual protection. Mutual protection, it happens, we know that, we know how normal flora, in other words, in the mouth, especially in the mouth. There is normal flora. There are there are biofilm which inhibits the mouth, and they are not. They will protect the host. So, in other words, mutual protection will be both sides. One is for the microbe inside biofilm, which protect by the biofilm, and the next one is what? Biofilm will protect the host. In other words, our body by what? By providing protection, immunity to the host, by providing nutrition, and also the host will provide nutrition and also a good area for biofilm to stay. So it is a mutual relationship. So mutual protection, we mean by both of them. In other words, by protection of microbe inside biofilm to each other, and also protection of the host by commensal biofilm. In other words, commensal microbe. Now, the next mechanism which protects the bacteria in biofilm is hibernation. In hibernation, some portion of the community of the microbe will go into hibernation. In other words, it will go to a state of sleeping. And by that mechanism, the antibiotic cannot work on them, because antibiotic works on those bacteria which are active. So that is another mechanism. So these are the mechanisms for protection, in other words, mechanisms which protect bacteria in the biofilm. So any question up to now? So you see, we are dealing with community, with micro community. And actually there is different micro community in the biofilm which we are talking about. Now, this is about in health, there is a harmonious balance. In other words, the microbes inside are checking each other, and no microbe is dominant, but then the harmonious balance will be lost. Then we have dysbiosis. We do have symbiosis, which is when the microbes are checking each other in the biofilm, and none of them dominate the other one. So there is, in other words, the pathogen cannot work over there. And the other one is dysbiosis, which is when that balance between those microbes will be lost. This picture we do have in your book, and it shows the biofilm, oral biofilm. You will see, there is matrix, there is channels in this area, which the fluid can go inside, and also oxygen and so forth, so that the microbes can survive and also the prevent molecules to go inside the biofilm. So now, the symbiosis and dysbiosis, I talked about that. In health, we do have symbiosis, everything are in check, and it is mutual beneficial between host and commensal microorganism. So in other words, in symbiosis, everything is living in harmony. Dysbiosis is the reverse of this. It's when one species dominate, in other words, the balance of the bacteria is lost inside biofilm, and it is called dysbiosis. Dysbiosis in susceptible patient trigger host response, which called what? Periodontal disruption. So we do have dysbiosis, we do have initial dysbiosis or incipient dysbiosis, which is the gingivitis. Now, then we get established dysbiosis, that is periodontitis. That is when the host react and cause destruction of tissue. So that's the difference between established dysbiosis and incipient dysbiosis. So in other words, established dysbiosis is what? Is periodontitis. In established dysbiosis, you will see tissue destruction. Now, so we know the character of biofilm is resistant to antibiotic and antimicrobial agent. Now, free-living bacteria, those which are still not formed into biofilm, they are what? They will, in other words, they will be eliminated by antimicrobial agent or by mechanical destruction. But when there is biofilm, it will protect the inhabitant of the biofilm. Now, then we know that antibiotic will kill free-floating bacteria easily, but you need to increase the dosage up to about 1500 or so that it can kill plaque bacteria. In other words, the bacteria inside the biofilm. So that's why that's because of the protection which that community gives by extracellular matrix and so on. Now, so and then we know that when they prescribe antibiotics, the best way is when they prescribe and they do also mechanical disruption of dental plaque. Then it is good to prescribe antibiotics. But just by prescribing antibiotic, it is not a good way. Yeah, I mean periodontitis or gingivitis is infection, but which is caused by biofilm, but the best way is to disrupt it and then prescribe antibiotics if you need to prescribe antibiotics. It is not good to prescribe antibiotics because this is infection. Yes, this is infection disease, but the best way is to mechanically. In other words, your job is very important. First, mechanically remove it. First by patient by brushing. Second by you by instrumentation, sublingual instrumentation. Then, if there is a need for antibiotic therapy, antibiotic therapy. So remember, this is very important. Which I talked about that different sublingual area. Sublingual area, the patient cannot remove, in other words, cannot disrupt subgingival plaque. Therefore, it is very important to have the patient for maintenance, and you do instrumentation. So in other words, the instrumentation is not just for removing calculus, it is also for removing subgingival plaque. Especially if there is pocketing 6 millimeter, 5 millimeter, and you put it on maintenance because of any reason, you know that you need to go down after 2 months or 3 months and remove subgingival calculus and subgingival plaque. That is very important. So it is not just subgingival calculus. It is subgingival plaque which the patient cannot remove. Now, how much the patient can remove, how much pocket the patient can manage by removing plaque? 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter. Yeah? After that, it will get out of the hand of the patient, especially when it goes to 4 millimeter, 5 millimeter, then should be seen every 3 months or even 2 months in some cases with bad plaque control, so that it doesn't show the effect. Now, and they use these numbers because they did study and they come to a conclusion. Now they did study and they saw that when there is 6 millimeter pocket, it is better to see patients sooner than 3 months. Therefore, they advise 2 months in those cases, or in deeper cases. But we need to make sure the patient understands why should be seen, because he or she cannot drink down there, and the kind of microbe will change in the course of time. We go more anaerobic, which is more possibility of destruction. So pay attention to that one. Now, this one it shows 5 phases in the formation of biofilm, starting from helical layer, then initial attachment, then permanent attachment, then maturation 1, maturation 2, and then dispersal. So those are the 5 stages of biofilm formation. So in this diagram you can see, and that is on what I said. Now, the stages. Stage 1 is helical. It is, in other words, it is attachment of bacteria to helical. Helical is what? It is glycoprotein and it is composition. It is glycoprotein and antibodies. Now, it forms on the tooth after cleaning, about a few minutes after cleaning, by brushing or whatever, it forms on the tooth. Its function is to protecting enamel. So the function of helical is protecting enamel. Now, so in other words, the first phase of biofilm formation on the tooth is pellicle, is attachment to what? To pellicle. Now, in this phase, it is dynamic. In other words, it will attach and it can be disrupted. Now, those which will be attached and can withstand the flow of the fluid, in other words, the saliva and so forth, and the pressure, the hydraulic pressure which they can withstand. Then they will stand on the pellicle and they will start, they are the early colonizer. Now, this is, so this stage, the attachment is dynamic and is reversible. Now, in next stage, which will be, okay, so here plaque-forming bacteria, these are bacteria, and they are on pellicle right now. So in this stage, we know that it is reversible. In other words, that the bacteria will attach, but it can be disrupted on pellicle, it depends. Now, next stage is permanent attachment. In this stage, which is, they are called early colonizers, and they will produce substance, chemical substance, which will attract other bacteria to be colonized. And usually, they will like to have genetically distinct bacteria to be attached to them. So it is called, this stage is called also co-aggregation, because genetically distinct bacteria become attached to each other. So co-aggregation is used because of that. Now, so the composition of early colonizer will determine the subsequent colonizer. So it depends which bacteria colonize, they will attract the same bacteria or those which are compatible with them. Now, stage T is the maturation phase 1, which in this stage, why it is maturation? Because extracellular matrix will be formed and will be covered, the biofilm will be covered by extracellular matrix. So in this extracellular matrix, there is different kinds of bacteria, variety kinds of bacteria, a different microcolony. Now, the composition of extracellular protective matrix is protein, glycolipid, and bacterial DNA. That's the composition of extracellular protective matrix. Now, matrix protect bacteria from what? From immune response and antibiotics of the host. So that's the function of matrix, extracellular matrix. Now, if biofilms persist and lead to, so if biofilms persist, finally it will to the metastasis. Now, so here it shows extracellular matrix, which is around this area, and you see those small spots. These are extracellular matrix. Now there are some spaces in between which oxygen and waste product of the bacteria and nutrient can flow in those areas, in those spaces. So now stage 4. So up to now, so stage 3 was is done. Stage 4, which was maturation phase 1. Now stage 4 of biofilm formation is maturation phase 2. Maturation phase 2, you will see biofilm will grow more, and it will attach, in other words, it will attach to the tooth surface or pocket epithelium by a small projection, but it is like a mushroom, So, so the other thing is that environmental condition within each microcolony. So we know that biofilm has different microcolony inside it. Now, each microcolony has different condition inside. In other words, the pH and also oxygen tension, different things. It is not, in other words, there are different microcolony inside that community, which is called biofilm. And it has different condition within each microcolony. So you see that it is diverse. In other words, the biofilm has diverse microcolony, and that's why it will be survive anyhow. If something happens to them, then one of the microcolonies, the bigger microcolony, can survive. So now about internal organization of mature biofilm. So internal organization, one is layers and layers of microbes. So this is on top of each other, layers and layers. Then there is fluid channel, which is caused by what? Extracellular protective matrix. There are some spaces between them which fluid can circulate in these spaces. Now, so the fluid can be everything from saliva to beverage to whatever the host consumes. So this was about internal organization of mature biofilm. In other words, layers of microbes with extracellular matrix and also the space in extracellular matrix. Now, then in biofilm there is cell-to-cell communication. Cell-to-cell communication is either by direct or chemical signal or by transfer of genes. So by these three methods, they communicate to each other. Cell-to-cell, inside biofilm. So now, then next item is colonization. Now, about cell-to-cell and so forth, so there are some chemical agents which they secrete, and by that they communicate to each other. Now, transfer of gene also, and so forth. Now, the sequence of bacterial colonization, according to that, these are the sequence. If you can read it. And basically, I talked about that mature biofilm is very complex. So at 9 o'clock, so the zone of subgenus bacterial attachment is what? Is food surface. One is food surface, the other one epithelial lining of the pocket. And then there are some free-floating bacteria. So in this slide, you will see, for example, on this side, it is pocket, and you see the difference between, there are some free-floating bacteria in between. Now, this side is pocket epithelium. This side is what? Is cementum, and in between you will see what you will see. I mean, it can be enamel or cementum. Let me see what they wrote it at first. Enamel or cementum, it depends. It can be like this. So, free-floating bacteria is in between these two, and these are what? You see mushroom-like colleague. It is like that. So this is mature biofilm on tooth side, and you see the difference between biofilm on tissue side and tooth side. On tooth side, you see it is mushroom-like. In tissue side, it is like in other words, it is thinner on pocket epithelium. So this is subgingival in subgingival area, biofilm in subgingival area. So now this is about a different hypothesis about periodontal disease. In other words, the role of bacteria in periodontal disease, starting with non-specific plaque hypothesis, then we do have theory of specific plaque hypothesis. Then we do have the more recent one, ecological plaque hypothesis. And then the other two, these are more recent, microbial homeostasis, post-response hypothesis. And the next one is keystone pathogen post-response hypothesis. So these are the hypotheses which we do have for the role of bacteria in periodontal disease. Now, in non-specific plaque bacteria hypothesis, they thought that if you don't disturb the biofilm, the plaque, on the tooth surface, after a while it causes, it doesn't matter which kind of bacteria or whatever, the amount cause what? Cause inflammation, cause uveitis. That is non-specific because they didn't specify any kind of bacteria. They said, okay, because of the bacteria and the abundance of them, the amount of them, then we get into periodontal disease, we get into inflammation and so forth. Now, in specific plaque hypothesis, they came to the conclusion that some bacteria in the plaque, they not the whole bacteria, but some bacteria in the plaque, they will initiate inflammation, they will initiate periodontal disease, and we do have Soplansky, which hypothesized that we categorize bacteria into different categories and give different color to different kind of bacteria. So you can see what we have. Okay, so this is theory in brief. So non-specific, I said about non-specific, specific presence of specific bacteria on the biofilm directly, this is very important, directly cause the tissue disruption seen in periodontitis. Now, in the next theory, which is ecological plaque hypothesis, which is current, you see, those two are out of date. They are outdated, specific, non-specific. But they made the ground stone for the other hypothesis. In other words, they show that microbes are important for development of periodontal disease or inflammation or infection. Now, ecological plaque hypothesis, they said that change in the subvisual environment can dictate or select a certain microbial composition of the biofilm, which those pathogenic biofilm, in other words, those selected biofilm, pathogenic biofilm, cause tissue destruction seen in periodontitis. So in other words, here again, they are saying that the microbe cause tissue damage. Now, in the next two, they are not talking about the microbe causing damage. They are talking about the host response toward the microbe which causes tissue damage. So that's the difference between those three and the other two which is down here. So, in the next hypothesis, which is current, microbial homeostasis, they said that shift from beneficial to pathogenic microbes triggers post-inflammatory response, which that post-inflammatory response causes the tissue destruction in periodontitis. So it goes to what? Goes to post-inflammatory response. First, it will give post-inflammatory response, and that response causes tissue destruction in periodontitis. It is not that the bacteria directly cause tissue destruction. In the first three hypotheses, the bacteria directly cause tissue destruction. But in these two, which one of them I talked about the microbial homeostasis. And the next one is keystone pathogenic hypothesis, which is more recent. In keystone, they said that it doesn't mean that all pathogen bacteria will cause infection. It means that a keystone species initiate a shift from beneficial to dysbiotic microbe in the biofilm community, which then in turn triggers inflammatory response of the host. So that's in other words, in this theory, they say, okay, it is a keystone. Keystone, it means that it can be a microbe not dominating, a pathogen which is not dominating. It is minute in number, but it is very potent. Keystone, when they talk about keystone, they mean that. Now, in the other theory, which is microbial hemostasis, they didn't state that. They say pathogen, and then that pathogen triggers inflammatory response, and that inflammatory response cause the host destruction of the tissue. So, any question about these hypotheses? So you should know the difference between those three in the top and those two in the bottom. Basically, is in what? Is the effect of bacteria on those three. I mean, it will cause tissue destruction according to them, but in these two, no, the host response causes tissue destruction. The host reaction. Now, do you see the difference?
Yes.
Okay. So, I talked about that. These two, they are not using these two hypotheses, but they are the basic, hypotheses which show that microbes play a role in periodontitis. So Kransky grouped microorganisms into complexes and assigned a color. He assigned, I think, 6 different colors. It is in your book. I didn't put it here. 6 different books. Basically, he would say that orange and red complex, group of microbes are what? Or pathogenic. They are the major etiologic agents of periodontal disease, and yellow, green, blue, purple complexes, which it is in your book, they are not. They are for gingival head. Now, this hypothesis, which is what? Is non-specific hypothesis, which right now we are not using it. So Kransky is one of those persons which talked about it. So it has okay. So the thing which doesn't match in this one, according to Sokansky, according to him, then there is the microbe which is gram negative. They are what? Pathogenic. But we see in deep pocket, down deep pocket, there are anaerobe which are what? Gram positive. And it is contrary to what that guy is talking about. So these are the weakness of this theory, which one of them is like that. Now, again, in this theory also, you can say that why in some area, or in the non-specific, especially non-specific, why we do have destruction with the same amount of plaque. We do have destruction in one side, and we have not destruction in another side. So these are the weakness of those two theories. The last one which I talked is the weakness of non-specific plaque hypothesis. So translate as like that. Now, current perspective, one is what? Ecological plaque hypothesis, which basically I talked about that. It is change in subgingival environment, which causes increased pathogenic bacteria in the biofilm, and that pathogenic bacteria damage the tissue. So again, in this theory, again, bacteria is damaging the tissue. In ecological plaque hypothesis, which is not outdated. So according to that, again, bacteria is damaging periodontal. So it is very important to see this chart in the book and read underneath, because it gives you a good insight and you can remember later on. Now, so according to that, combine the key point from non-specific plaque hypothesis and specific plaque hypothesis. So in other words, this hypothesis, which is ecological plaque. Ecological means what? Means the environment. Yeah? Plaque hypothesis, it combines both hypotheses, specific, non-specific. Now, current theory, microbial hemostasis, which I talked about. Pathogenic biofilm community triggers uncontrolled host response. And host response causes what? Damage to periodontal tissue. So in here you see that host response is what? In the middle. There is not directly bacteria, directly not damaging periodontal tissue. Host response causes damage to periodontal tissue. And in the next hypothesis, it's the same thing. But the difference with this hypothesis, again, yeah. Okay, so the next hypothesis is the same. So anyhow, so according to that theory, which is called what? Keystone theory. Okay. This like means like symbiosis, dysbiosis. Yeah?
Yes.
This has symbiosis with him, dysbiosis with him. So the third theory is keystone pathogen, which you will see again keystone species in biofilm. It doesn't mean that pathogen, every pathogen is specified. Keystone species in biofilm trigger shift to dysbiosis. Biofilm community, and then it causes uncontrolled host response, and then damage to periodontal tissue. So we see in this hypothesis, we have one more step in this one. In the other one, it was 3 different steps. So this is called keystone pathogen host response. And then, yeah. Gingivitis, okay, so the reason they came to this hypothesis, one is that, for example, P. gingivitis is the keystone species in Escherichia coli microbe. They find it, and then keystone species have a disproportionality, large effect on its community. In other words, keystone species, there are very tiny bit of bacteria. There are not too many bacteria, but they have large effect on the community. So these are hypotheses about the role of bacteria in periodontal disease. Yeah. You will see research page, specific bacterial pathogen and directly cause tissue destruction with periodontal disease. So we found that according to that it is not used anymore. And then response called the tissue destruction periodontal disease. And then by research they found that uncontrolled post-inflammatory and immune response cause destruction of periodontal disease. So basically, it was the region for it. Now, then according to the research, they found that there is striking difference between the immune status of periodontal tissue between healthy and diseased patients. Also, clinically healthy patients, periodontal tissue maintained. This is very important. Clinically healthy periodontal tissue maintains mild clinical inflammation. So in other words, after in the new classification of periodontal disease, 2017, if there is bleeding on probing, but it is less than 10%, it is still called what? Healthy periodontium. It is not bad. After 10%, how they come to the number 10, I don't know why they didn't use 5% or 20%. Again, I don't know. But according to that, clinically healthy periodontal tissue maintains mild subgingival inflammation. So that is normal for clinically healthy periodontium. Now, in the disease periodontal tissue exhibits a distorted state of marked inflammation. So when you see inflammation, then it is okay. So basically, I finished this chapter. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you want me to go back on any one of these, I will be more than happy to do that. Now, I think from now on, according to what I heard, I will give you, exactly what topic will be in the exam on each chapter. Instead of giving you, the guide. So the guide will be a guide to the question, which will be asked. And the final exam has 50%. So, yeah, it is over everything. Everything, so it is very important so that I give you exactly the subject which I did.
Can you give us the questions so that we know the answers? Because that's always the type of exercise.
Say that again.
Where you give us the questions and we find the answers on our own.
Okay.
So that's what we did in our other class. So it was kind of like this situation.
Okay.
And at the end, he gave us where everybody was doing bad.
So you mean at each session, or at the final? Let me see. So I give you the question, and so in other words, you want just to give one sentence or one word, yeah? Am I right?
No, he gave us the exact question.
Okay.
And we came up with the answers, right? Something like that? Yeah.
But it was a multiple choice test. But it's not a fill in the blank test. It was like every question that was on the final, he gave it to us.
Okay.
But we had to find the question. We had to find the answers ourselves. That was going to be the answer on the final.
So I need to talk with my boss because it should be determined. So in other words, I give you all the questions.
And we find the answers.
And you find the answer at home, and then you give it.
How much we study it ourselves.
So in other words, you study
The
also.
questions ourselves, yeah, we memorize them.
So I need to bring that to my boss to see if it is okay. I don't mind. I want you to learn things. That's the main thing. But I need to see if they will accept. Now.
Oh yeah, and actually our other class too, histology did that first too. Mrs. Belgian had them.
Who?
2 of our classes did that, right?
Oh, the 2 of your classes did? Okay, so I need to talk to my boss then. It is like that. So you like that method better, yeah?
Yeah, it's just because it's so
So when should I give you the question? That's important.
before like a week before maybe.
Okay, so it will be very good. Because I need to talk that the situation. So you had classes which they did like that.
Yes, because this is a
Cool.
2-unit class, but we also
Those
have
were-
5-unit classes, and we have a lot of other classes. So
Okay.
they were just trying to accommodate our crazy schedule.
Uh-huh.
This is one of our hardest quarters, but
Okay.
we just want to pass and do good.
Oh, sure. Sure. I will talk about it. Okay. So, anyway, yeah, I tried to reduce the number of slides. So I did, but if you have any question, I will be more than happy to. If you don't have question, make sure that you put everything on that. In other words, your attendance. So, and do you need me to be here for the next 50 minutes or not?
No.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Are we
Yeah.
done for today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. After that, any question?
Yeah, where's the sign-in sheet?
Say that again.
Where's the sign-in sheet?
Oh, sign up sheet. Sure. I'm not sure. Debbie will come. I will bring Debbie.
Or we can sign our names on a separate paper and give it to you.
To
If
me,
that makes
oh,
you so. I know
so
Debbie's
that I can
makes
do
it.
that. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you can do that.
Do you have like a paper? No. I have
So you write it. I will give it to Debbie.
I have a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
So I sent you an email because I accidentally forgot to take the quiz. I said it's going to give me information.
So
The one that was
I need to see my boss. Because this decided on yeah, if we go for it, but I need to see if there's like any
I sent you an email, so you could check.
okay, sure.
I sent Debbie an email too.
I will check with them if it is okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.